Three laws on agricultural reform have created an uproar in India. The Modi government says the laws are meant to give farmers more freedom to sell their produce to big buyers like Walmart and Tesco. But critics say it leaves farmers with little bargaining power. At least one cabinet minister has quit in protest, while farmers in India's largest agricultural state, Punjab, are planning a major protest next week. And for more on this, Neha Punya joins us with the latest. Neha, get us up to speed with what's happening now then. Prime Minister Modi has weighed in on the farmers' protests.
That's right, Steve. This is the second time in as many days that he's making an appeal to farmers. He was speaking at an event where he was inaugurating a railway bridge through a video conference link, but he spent a large part of his speech addressing the farmers of the country. He said there's a lot of misinformation doing the rounds, that farmers, because of these legislations, will no longer get the right price for their produce. He said this is an absolute lie, and he called it a political agenda to mislead and deceive farmers. He's blamed opposition parties for instigating the protests that we're seeing in the two states of Punjab and Haryana, which are referred to as the food bowls of India. He's also maintained that this legislation is pro-farmers. It's not anti-farmers in any way. He maintains this will revolutionize how agriculture is done in the country. It will do away with bottlenecks and as well as the concept of middlemen. He says there's also an element of of choice. He says if you want to, as a farmer, sell your produce to a big corporation, this will give you that option. But if you don't want to, you can still sell your produce to the state, to the centre, through these state-run agricultural markets.
Neha, will this get protesters to call off action?
Glenda, it's got no ice with them so far. Soon after Prime Minister Modi spoke, there were a few farmers who are leading these protests in the state of Punjab who said that they have no plans yet to call off their agitation next week. They're saying they're still going to go ahead and block several trains in northern India. They're going to hold day-long agitations in those two states as well. And not just this, but it's also become an issue over which opposition parties in the country are now uniting to take on Prime Minister Modi's BJP party. Farmer organizations as well as political parties from several states across the country say they will lend their support to these agitations next week. So we could very well see a pan-India movement when those protests kick off on Thursday next week. And farmers are saying the reason why they plan to go ahead with these demonstrations is because they're not reassured by Prime Minister Modi's message to them. They still maintain that these legislations will benefit big corporations more than they will help small individual farmers and open them up, they claim, to corporate exploitation.
All right, thanks for that. Neha Punya speaking to us from New Delhi.